Hello friends and welcome back to Destiny 2. Today we're going to go over the best Warlock builds in Season 19. Our first build is going to be using Starfire Protocol as our exotic. Fusion grenades have an additional charge and recharge from empowered weapon damage. So basically, every time you're in an empowered rift or in a well, you're going to be getting grenade energy back. So just like I said, we're going to be using well. Daybreak, not really the best for this. So Well of Radiance is your best bet, especially with the weapon that we're going to be using. Wither Horde works amazing with this build. So Empowering Rift for that extra damage, you get grenade energy back. Jump, we know, doesn't matter, whatever your preference is. However, the melee, you can either use Incinerator Snap or Celestial Fire. Depends on your situation, what you prefer. I have Incinerator Snap for this video, but I swap between the two. Next up, of course, the Fusion Grenade. Fusion Grenade is great and it sticks to targets. For our aspects, we're going to be using Touch of Flame. So this is going to make your Fusion Grenade detonate twice, and it does a lot of damage, and you're going to be throwing them everywhere. Icarus Dash, you can use this. I don't really use it too much. While airborne, rapidly defeating targets with your super or weapon grants cure to you. I haven't tried it yet, but it might have some good things with the Manticore. For our fragments, we have Ember of Eruption. Solar Igniters have an increased area of effect. Ember of Char, Solar Igniters spread across affected targets. Defeating a Solar Igniter grants grenade energy. And Ember of Ashes, you apply Scorch stacks to targets. So you'll see in the gameplay here, it's honestly rinse and repeat. Throw it on a rift, get some kills with your grenades, get your rift back, throw it on a rift, get some kills with grenades, and basically just shoot stuff. This is why Wither Horde is so good, because it does tick damage and it's a DOT. You can shoot something with Wither Horde and one time, and you'll get the grenade back. So it's pretty simple, but it is highly effective. I actually prefer this when running raids simply because of well. Well is obviously always needed in raids, but definitely something that I would check out. And if this build seems like it's for you, it's extremely effective. Our next build, we're going to be going over to the Osmiomancy gloves. Your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact. The Seeker spawn from Cold Snap grenades travels farther. This build is obviously going to be using Cold Snap grenades and the Shadebinder Warlock. So for our abilities, aspects, and fragments, we're going to be using Winter's Wrath. Healing Rift, I prefer that for this class. Jump, doesn't matter. Penumbral Blast for the melee, it's the only one. And, of course, Cold Snap grenades. For our aspects, we're going to be using Ice Flare Bolts. Shattering a frozen target spawns Seekers that track and freeze enemies. Glacial Harvest, freezing targets. Create stasis shards around the frozen target. Higher combatant tiers spawn more crystals. First of our fragments, Whisper of Rhyme. This will collect the stasis shards and give you an overshield. It'll actually heal you as well. Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track your position like ionic traces. Whisper of Fissures increases the damage and the size of the stasis burst. And Whisper of Chains. When you are near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystals, you have higher defense to everybody in the area. So you have reduced damage. And the idea for this build is you basically toss your grenade at somebody. So here, you'll see in a moment. I have 1, 0, now back up to 1.5. So the higher tier of target that you hit with the crystal will regenerate your stasis cold snap grenades faster. Plain and simple. I do find that this particular build can be very good at higher levels of nightfalls and stuff like that. Not necessarily raids. It's usually good to have a well in that instance, but for GM or for Master Nightfalls, this is really good because you can freeze champions. It stops them from doing their thing, especially barrier champs. So that's what I would recommend using this type of build for. And it is really solid build, easy to stay alive, and you can freeze everybody. But on to the next build. So we're in Void Walker, specifically Nova Bomb Cataclysm, or as many people know it as, Slova Bomb. We're going to be using the Healing Rift, Jump, doesn't matter, Pocket Singularity, because it's the only one, and Vortex Grenade, because they're busted. They're the best void grenade that you can use. So for our aspects, we're going to be using Chaos Accelerant. This is what lets you charge up the grenade. Void grenades are really good in general, but with the Vortex, it makes it huge. And Feed the Void to trigger Devour on void ability kills, which is going to help with keeping you alive. For fragments, we're going to be using Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades gives you volatile rounds. Echo of Remnants, your grenade has an increased duration. And Echo of Expulsion, void ability final blows cause targets to explode. The exotic that we're going to be using for this build is Controverse Holds, Chaotic Exchanger. Resist incoming damage while charging a void grenade, and charged void grenades return grenade energy on hit. So if you throw this at a big group of enemies, you're going to get back a ton of grenade energy. Case in point, check this out. Boom. Grenade's already back, and it honestly didn't take that many enemies. So if you see now, I also have volatile rounds, which is extremely strong right now. Another grenade, boom. I'm already halfway to my next grenade. Hit him with the Pocket Singularity. That gives me a little bit more. Now, any void ability kills that I'm getting, I already got my grenade back. So this is very good to use. There is a build variation of this where you use I believe it's the fragment that lets your grenades weaken enemies. However, there's so many ways to weaken enemies, especially this season using Weaken Clear, that it's really not necessary. So this build is actually better for that because now you don't have to waste up that fragment spot. But this is great for keeping you alive. It is good for end game content because, I mean, this is pretty easy, obviously. It's just a lost sector, but that boss it's melted. It no longer exists. And with that, that's the end of our best 3 Warlock builds of Season 19 of Destiny 2. Come back in a little while and check out our Hunter video next. Have a great day.